All right, here we are. Welcome in. This is my first video on YouTube ever. Long time lurker, first time poster. But I've got something to say, and this felt like a good place to say it. So, what I want to do here tonight to kind of kick this channel off, I just want to cover something that's been on my mind lately, and it's really the number one mistake that I see salespeople making and continuing to make over and over and over again that costs them a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of sanity. And that mistake is continuing to add more scripts and more sales training and to hire more coaches and mentors, which I know is a weird thing to say as a sales mentor, but it's the truth. You can add as much of this external stuff as you want, but if you don't fix the foundation, if you don't focus on the inner work, then nothing else is going to stick. And I know we've all been told that we need to do the inner work, right? But what does that actually mean? Unfortunately, in the sales industry, we haven't been given the tools or the training on what to do and how to shift things so it actually moves the needle in our income, right? I promise you though, if you focus on this, then everything will shift and sales actually becomes a lot more fun, becomes easier. And it all starts with identity. I really want to talk about identity in this first video because it is the foundation for everything. If you are just operating based on your autopilot or based on what you think a salesperson should operate as, maybe you're just trying to emulate another good sales rep or trying to fit into a mold that your manager or sales trainer thinks that they told you to do, then you're missing out on a lot of income, you're missing out on a lot of connection because you're ignoring your specific and unique way of connecting and communicating in the world. We all have a unique energetic blueprint. And when we are able to see that, work with it, and then build a framework around that, that's when things start to get exciting. So the real problem I'm seeing is that people are just ignoring all of that and they're just focusing on the tactics, right? Where really we need to find a good balance between both. The inner work, in my opinion, is even more important because once you start shifting those things, the tactics actually start to become less and less relevant. And when you're able to show up as your natural magnetic self, everything just seems to kind of fall into place and it's just a lot more fun and a lot easier. You're making more money and you're not working as hard. Now you have time for other things outside of work, passion projects or family. A great example of this is one of my clients just the other day went through a identity process with me. And this is someone who has hired a lot of different coaches and mentors, done a lot of different trainings. Honestly, she knows exactly what to do and when to do it. She's got the scripting down, she's got the process down, and she's just a very natural communicator and connector. But she was still hitting resistance in her calls and it was costing her deals. We went through one session where we worked on identity. We didn't look at her script. We didn't look at her framework. None of that. We worked on her identity, the foundation of how she's showing up and who she is when she shows up at her best. And she had a breakthrough in that one session. And she was able to close deals that typically weren't closing. Her connection rates went through the roof. It was a really cool thing to see because this is something that so many people struggle with. Just one little piece of internal work can shift everything externally if you know what to look for and how to do it. So I just want to encourage you to stop ignoring this critical piece. Stop paying for training, stop hiring coaches and mentors until you start looking at the internal world, doing the internal work needed to make the big shifts so all the external stuff actually makes sense. If you need help finding out what your sales blueprint is, I built a free tool for that. That'll be linked below. If you want to explore working together and working on these identity things and the internal things that make the biggest shifts, that's what we do inside of Authentic Influence. Just reach out and we can chat more, see if it's a good fit for you. Peace.